They literally just, well,
Yeah,
not just, but they brought up Infinite and then they just throw them away like that, like because technically, if you gotta remember they also brought it up. I don't know why they did it like that, but they did kind of bring up Infinite's a little bit of his backstory and forces in general through the comic books. I don't know why they decided to do that, but they did. And so whatever you didn't know about a little bit about Infinite in the game, then the comic book, if you wasn't on Twitter or on Facebook,
how
you wouldn't have seen
yeah,
that comic at all.
and like I was saying like before, it's just like I shouldn't have to go to a separate source of media to understand a video game that I purchased. You know. And as
Oh
far
no.
as that goes, what type of style do you think the future of Sonic games should for A team games? Because B team games sometimes don't have the boost formula in it at all or any form of acceleration. But as far as the A team is going, what type of formula or what type of direction do you think that they should try? Do you think that they should stay with gimmicky things, or do you think they should try to find one true heading, or stick with the boost formula, or try something that they've tried before and try to perfect that instead?
And this is where a bunch of arguments and people saying you're stupid, no, you shouldn't, whatever. But this is just my thoughts, whatever. All right. So you got to realize the boost formula for, I think if no, and the actual console from 360, PlayStation 3, Sonic Unleashed was the first thing that brought up the boost formula. And from then on, it was kind of janky, but they fixed it in Generations, and it was a lot better. Besides from just his mid-air jump, but the boost formula gameplay was almost just spot on. But then, a few games after that, for example, you couldn't even drift. You couldn't turn well with Sonic. Like,
And I
the
also
boost formula went from okay to great to bad.
and like you said about the drifting, that's one thing that really made me mad about Forces was because of all those times you just fly off the cliff because you can't drift. And also, I feel like with the air boosting and drifting would have made Forces a whole lot better to control.
Better. But me personally, people going to be saying, no, they need to stick to a particular one. Well, if you're thinking about it, they've been sticking with this particular style for the past few years, and it still hasn't been perfected yet. And this, you got to remember, this was a new team that still worked on Sonic Forces because it wasn't the same team that worked from Sonic Generations. This is a completely different team from that one.
And they lied to us about that too.
Yeah, like
From the team that bought you Sonic Colors and Sonic Generation, just because it's Sonic Team, you can't say that. Because I mean, there are so many people at Sonic Team that we don't even know about, and you know, you just can't say, oh, it's Sonic Team, so we can say this.
now, me personally, I feel like they need to take a step backwards. Yes, I'm talking about going back to the adventure style. Yes, it is somewhat linear if you think about it. But lie, me personally, Sonic Adventure 2 is my favorite game of all time. But the
Same.
longer I play it, Sonic Adventure, I'm starting to like because Sonic Adventure 2 perfects the things that Sonic Adventure couldn't do, dealing with, the physics, the models, and just like that. But then Sonic Adventure had the good way dealing with, a decent story. It's not like too strong, but it ain't too childish either. To the different character stories that link together. And because you got to remember, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, they all play similarly. Tails is basically Sonic that can fly. It's just is not as fast. Knuckles, he has his own journey. Even though he meets along with Sonic and them, he's still collecting the Master Emerald pieces, but with a good radar system and big gamma. People want to shoot and fish for some reason. And Amy was for mainly for beginners. I basically
Kind of like Team Rose was.
yeah, Team Rose was for Sonic Heroes. That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
And with Sonic Adventure 2, it made everything so much easier. You don't have the hub worlds no more. Most people did not like the hub worlds and went just straight to the next stage. All right, beat the one character game, go into the next stage. But they brought back the shooting, which was stupid. So that's why it's more of a half and half. Technically, it's more of 1/3 of Sonic Adventure 2 compared to the 2/3, or I say 2/5 of Sonic Adventure.
And like you were saying about it might be a little bit linear, but at least it opened up the exploration, and since it was fully 3D, there was a lot of paths that you could try to jump over and skip, and it opened up a lot more to doing things faster. When you play in something that's 3D to 2D, the only thing you're doing in that, and I think it's even more linear 3D in the newer 3D Sonic games than you could ever consider the adventure style to be. Like, this is like, okay, this is your straight 3D path, and the second that you are done with this 3D path, you are sent into 2D. And
I hated that.
I feel like it's 15 times more linear in the newer Sonic games, especially with forces. It's just a straight line 3D, and then bam 2D. And at least with the Venture formula, you weren't confined to go into one direction. And I feel like
They have multiple ways that lead like to the same technical path, yes, but there's also other ways like, hey, you get an extra life or a bunch of rings, stuff like that.
like
At least it might lead you to a dead end, but you're rewarded still.
and there was a lot of ways to try, doing special things to get to other places faster. Like, I'm not even gonna get into like Pyramid Cave and how there was like a lot of cool exploits that were, clear to do. They weren't like, maybe a trail of rings to show you how to do it or something. But there were other exploits that you could learn, like in Green Forest, how to run up the big tree trunk instead of bouncing on all the springs. And I just feel like there's a lot more there. But like we were talking before, we also got to realize, and what other people don't realize that want adventure, is this is not the same Sonic team that curated the Sonic Adventure. And I believe that really got us to our next point too, where we were talking about Mania, being made by the fans with a little bit of guidance by Sonic Team. That maybe they should hire somebody that's younger, even if it's not a fan, which a fan would be preferred, but to get some younger minds in there that knows how to use these newer engines or these newer, said pieces to try to get on the right foot of a 3D styled Sonic game. We're not asking for necessarily Sonic Adventure 3.
No, I don't want Sonic Adventure 3. Not yet.
Especially now.
Not yet.
And I know
Not
Sega
now.
doesn't want to slap that label on it. That's the last thing
They
they want
know
to do.
losing most of the fan base right there
But I think
once they do that.
yeah, but I think what they want to do is they want to save Adventure 3 for when Sonic's back on his feet, or for at least his 30th anniversary. And I also think that, they want to save that. Like, if Sonic hits dead bottom and there's no recovery for him, I feel like they will know. Like, people bought Forces, even though it was, awful. It even broke street dates, so that, like, people knew what they were getting into before even purchasing it. And, because, the full game was out before that. And it still sold overly well. And I feel like they know anyone will buy Adventure 3. Especially the people who don't want Adventure 3 will buy it because they will want to see, okay, is this crap or is this good? And am I going to be eating
One
my
more
own
shot.
words?
Let me get it one more shot, basically. I'm going to give Sonic one more shot before I give up.
Let's say if we get 6 bad games in a row, just theoretically, okay? And they were just as bad as Forces. Or I'm talking about that bad, if not worse.
I couldn't do it.
And they say Sonic Adventure 3.
I'm not gonna lie. It would give them a little bit of hope, but you also got to realize it's giving them doubt because the last 6 games,
Okay,
even though it's a theory,
I may
like
have
that.
over exaggerated by saying 6, but let's say the next 4 games are bad. Okay, it's 4, and one of them
What kind of happen?
and one of them was B Team. Okay, so we got 3 main Sonic games and 1 by B Team.
Also got to realize if it hasn't improved, if it was still mediocre, most likely the sales will go down. People like, I don't know. But then since it's away, has that name Sonic Adventure 3, and they at least practice the past 3, A-Team Sonic games were at least okay. They weren't the best. They were just like Forces, but every time you played it, they improved on it. People a lot more hope. Like, all right, this is my final chance. It says Sonic Adventure 3. People loved 1 and 2. let's give the third one a shot and let's see where it goes. Because if not, then I'm done with Sonic.
Because I think that's what they're doing. I think that they're saving it as a trump card of sorts of words. Saying like, we all fuck up. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Let's give them let's give them Sonic Adventure 3. And then I also feel like they're saving it for a big bang. Like if they actually get up on their feet correctly, especially in the 3D era, and try messing around with the adventure style in the form of '06, and calling it just a different name, not attaching the word adventure to it. And I feel like maybe if they get especially that footing down, and they're doing good, I think that's what they're trying to save. They're trying to save Adventure 3 to be either save me from going down the drain, or hey, this is gonna be the most successful game selling ever because everybody loves our new 3D games. And I feel like that's what they're saving Adventure 3. And I think that's why Takashi Iizuka said, I don't want to go back on the franchise. I think that's just him protecting himself, trying to say like. But I think that they know that the boost formula is not going to cut it for them. I think that they're going to try to hold on to that as much as they can because that is the only thing they know how to do. This new team came in around the time of Unleashed, and this is the only thing they've done since. I mean, we all seen how Lost World turned out. And I don't care what anybody says. Everyone says, "Oh, Lost World's a return to the adventure formula," and look how that turned out. Okay,
no, it's not.
One, that is not the adventure formula. That is some fish lens Sonic Extreme stuff, and there's still at least 40% 2D. So I don't want to hear that's the adventure formula. The only 2D that was in Sonic Adventure 2, the only 2D that was in Sonic Adventure 2 was half a millisecond in Green Forest when they make the transition from the lower path to the upper path. That was the only 2D section in the whole game. And that was just needed for transition, for camera. Because otherwise it would have been like, it wouldn't have known where Sonic was. So, I necessarily, don't quite know what their point is on that. With saying
I really
that's
don't know
the
either.
adventure, because it's definitely not. And then, I guess
That's pretty much everything.
yeah, I'm out of bullet points. Now,
All I know is just one thing. All I know is what if they create this damn Sonic Adventure 3 or something like it later on in the future. All I know is they need to bring back the Child Garden and needs to be
look, Sega knows
it needs
this.
to be good as hell.
Sega knows this that we want the Chow Garden. We don't
I
care.
want the Child Garden.
We don't care if it's its own game. Like all you gotta do.
I don't care.
All you gotta do is port Sonic Adventure 2 to the Switch, preferably the GameCube port, not the new one. Chow Garden's on the go. We'll shut up about the Chows. The Chow Garden doesn't need to be in the new game. I mean, we want it to be because it's updated, but like, we'll shut up. Like, you won't hear the word Chow out of our mouth again. And
Not for a long time.
And I feel like Sega knows this. Like, they could just make a Chow Garden game and we'd buy it. And
I'm gonna lie.
I was gonna say something.
Just sorry, I had to get off the topic real quick. I just had to bring it up. Like we talking about adventure, then it has to involve the child because literally 1 and 2 had the Child Garden, so 3 must definitely have the garden.
And everybody was saying during Forces, right around the time of E3 when we knew it was called Sonic Forces.
I think I heard of that too.
Everybody was like, "Hey, was Sonic Forces being in the Chow Garden?" And Aaron Weber had the nerve to say this. It's not in there. He says, "I don't think it's in there, and we'll get back to you on that." And it's like, dude, it's E3. How do you not know?
Fuck you to the face. Like, that's a big old fuck you to the face. It's not there. You're not getting it until we feel like you're ready to.
And I'm just like, honestly, we don't need a fully 3D game for you to give me my Chow Garden. You know what I mean? And as easy as it is now to port physics, like a lot of people already ported the adventure physics to Sonic Generations. So like it's easy to port physics, which means they could easily port a Chow Garden and just update the frameware, so the chows don't look as, I don't want to say blocky because they didn't look blocky, but like curvy and chunky looking, like the curves
Yeah.
aren't flat. And that's like all they gotta do is redo the framework. They got the codes and the physics. I'm sure the codes and physics will be a little bit different upon being in a new formula and everything. But I mean, they got a lot of groundwork, so it's not like they're building this from like the ground up. And so I mean, it kind of sucks. I mean, I get it. Chows wouldn't ever really fit in this game
Hmm.
because the world was ending. But I mean, it would have been a cool post game thing to be able to like, oh hey, you unlocked the Chow Garden,
Kind of dark still.
right?
It'd be really dark.
But so is the Hell Garden.
But it's not as edgy as
Right.
Sonic Forces was.
And then next, I guess on our list is let's talk.
Everything on the list.
Let's talk about just out of curiosity. Let's talk about what do we want to see from the B team if we don't get anything from the A team this year, and somehow that monstrosity of forces that I still play, made forces. Somehow that was A team. What do you want to see from B team this year? As a possible maybe South by Southwest announcement or E3.
I could not even tell you because so far from like in the Black Knight, that's the only B team, you can say game that I actually
Yeah, because B
kind
team,
of like.
I think B team made Colors and not Lost World. They might have, but I know that they made Colors and the Storybook series. But would you like to see a third installment in the Storybook series?
It'd be the four. It was already three: Sonic the Black Knight, Sonic the Secret Rings, and oh yeah, it's only been two.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's only two, and I feel like they've improved definitely because I hated Secret Rings, but I loved Black Knight.
I liked Black
And
Knight too. It'll be really cool to see another storybook series. I wonder what story they would have to go into next.
so
Like,
that's what you would like to see from B Team if they did not make Forces.
yeah, seen another storybook, but not just only being Nintendo exclusive. But
Uh, I to be honest, if they did another storybook series, I would see it definitely being a Nintendo Switch exclusive, hands down. And I mean, I don't want to
see
promote
that,
that.
but that would be a dick move though, because not everyone has the Switch. You got to remember that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, but the Switch just I think it was this month or last month, it outsold the Wii U's lifespan, which has
They
been
did
out
that months
since
ago.
and the Wii U was out since what 2013, 2011, 2010, something like that.
2012, 2013,
Yeah, and I mean if they just unsold
2012.
it, not being just 18 months. I mean, a lot of people have the Switch. I go to school at college, and I see at least almost two persons per class playing the Switch as I walk in because I'm there 20 minutes early, and I just
See,
I mean, I don't want to say Nintendo owns the rights to the storybook series because I know that they don't. But Sega has a thing of continuity, and they're always signing a contract with Nintendo, saying, "Hey, there's a Nintendo exclusive game, kind of like Fire and Ice and Sonic Boom." They
hmm
they sell those to exclusively Nintendo, and I think that because originally during the first Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, it was supposed to come to all consoles and stuff like that, and then Sega walks in and says, "Hey, we owe Nintendo another game exclusively for them. Stop
I to say
porting
because
it to all these big engines, and here's the Wii U. Have fun." And
Sonic Boom was on actually the third game that was meant to
yeah,
be, Nintendo exclusive.
and Sonic Boom looked really good before it was ported to the because when it got ported to the Wii U, they took out a lot, they changed a lot, and then we got the game that it is. And I mean, it looked really fun. It was, I don't know if you saw like the original it used to be called Sonic Synergy, and it looked.
Yeah, I saw all the original trailers. I thought it was really cool,
I
but
wanted it. I
then
almost bought a
on
Wii U
Sonic Boom.
for it. I almost bought a Wii U for it because there was only like 3 games I
Uh,
wanted for the Wii U, and I was like, I'm not buying it for 3 games. And I saw Sonic Synergy, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy a Wii U, and then once because then we heard it was coming to the Wii U, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a Wii U now. And then when we saw what it transformed into, I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I'll wait for the next console.
I didn't bought Wii U. I'm glad my cousins had one because all I did was buy Super Smash Brothers and just played the none out of it.
And then when I got like I said, I got the Switch, and I now got every game for the Wii U that came out for the Wii U that I wanted, and now the only game I'm waiting for is Smash. So it's just like, I guess it was good I didn't buy the Wii U, and especially because a lot of the games I wanted that came from the Wii U to the Switch now have deluxe ports that came to the Switch. So now I saved over $180 in DLC for free because it's the first time of me purchasing the game. So that's definitely the nice part.